Hello, it's Liz. I wanted to do a 1 year anniversary of my A5 Ochre Malden and my personal purple Malden that my friend Sonia, hey Sonia, bought for me when she was at the London Filofax store that is now closed. I can't remember where it was, but yeah. So she bought these for me on her trip to Europe last year, and I remember being so excited getting them. And part of me was so scared after reading people's comments on the Malden. It's a lot of it is a love-hate relationship. And I must say, after a year of constant use, I do love these things though. So let's get started on the A5 Ochre. As you can see, I do have a case that I keep it in. This is from Daiso. It's just like a neoprene type foamy case. It's a fabric case, just to keep it a little protected, because that's just the way I am. But as you can see, it still looks pretty good. It's always been shiny smooth. It does have some color gradients. It's not just solid brown. There's a little light dark brown. And the stitching is that contrast stitching, which still looks great. You can see even the back where it lays down, it's fine. On the side, no, it's not fraying. It looks really nice, the stitching. So I never treated it, didn't do anything with it. So yeah, it looks good. Discoloration, sometimes I scratch it like accidentally with a fingernail, but thankfully I try to handle my Filofaxes with the palm, with the pads of my fingers, rather than trying to, I don't know, like use the ends of my fingers or something like that. I don't know how to say it properly, but I did scratch it up. There are a couple little places where I scratched it accidentally. I don't know if it will pick up here. Some spots, especially on the binding here, just, you know, normal wear and tear. Things get caught on it. The back side, you know, a little scratch here. A lot of times I'll find if I rub it with the pad of my finger, no problems. I do have these charms hanging off the back, and I was worried that it would rub off the color or anything and stuff. No problems with scratching. Like I said, the stitching looks great. The color on top from it laying on, I've pretty much had this maybe 8-9 months, almost a year too. I had these charms, so it looks great. Everything is looking fine. The strap is getting wrinkly, but there is a little bit of discoloration in that it's getting lighter with some of the wrinkling, and I do have it stuffed. I do have my 5 color Coletto pens in there. I don't know if it's that. You know, I do have this Malden full. I mean, not so much it's bulging, but it looks good. The inside, this, I addressed it in another video, but I did try to train the all leather pen holder by putting a pen, trying to slowly push the pen down, so it kind of stretched out the leather and made it less shiny, and I didn't really like it, so I just clip my pens, and I'm fine with that because I do love my 5 color Colettos. There are a couple little scratches here. There's a little area here where, for whatever reason, it's just kind of, the seam is kind of coming down a little bit, so sometimes I just go like this. I find myself doing that. The edges, because the Malden is such a soft and pliable leather, whatever I have inside, kind of like where it stops is where it kind of bends, and that's just from normal wear and tear. Like I have this in my bag, sometimes something goes on top of it, whatever kind of pushes that in. It's just natural, so it kind of bends a little bit, but it's not looking bad at all. And I don't keep much in here. I do have a couple of little journaling card types in here, not too many. I've never used them. I really should take them out. I do have some Barnes & Noble little post-its, some magnetic page markers, a little picture thing from a dinner we had last year, a couple of 8.5 by 11 papers I folded, and then another Barnes & Noble post-it note. So not too much. It's not too bulky, or for me it's not so bulky. So I mean, I could take everything out and it'd be less, but you know, just a little bit of space. And people always wonder about the rings, and even if I didn't have this full, I don't know if you can really tell, but the rings really come right up to the leather, so it does put a dent in it, in the leather, but it doesn't bother me. It's really hard to tell. I mean, it could irritate me. Like, I worry sometimes if especially if I stuffed it a lot, I do worry that it might thin out the leather in these places, but I've never really had an issue with that. So sometimes I even find myself rubbing it like I am right now. The rings are holding up great. They're nothing gets caught in here. The rings are together. There is a tiny, less than a millimeter, maybe even a millimeter space, but I've never had papers get caught in there. It hasn't grown. I think it was even like that when it first came. I mean, it's pretty much closed all the way. So the only thing is it's a silver color. Some of it, I don't know if you could really tell, there's some black spots on it where the silver has rubbed off. I think it was even like that when I first got it. So it hasn't changed there. It's not tarnished. Like I said, I use this all the time. And on the back side here, I don't really have the rings pushing on here so much as the front side. And I've always had this pad of paper, so the leather here looks the same, nice and shiny. Once again, the edges do kind of curl a little bit, and that gives it character. Because it is used, it is loved. And you can see it kind of curls a little bit. The corners, I mean. And is what it is. I still love it. I love using this as my school binder right now. And when I'm done with school, it will probably just be either a work binder, depending on where I end up working, or I may make it my house binder. But yeah, I do find myself worrying because I do fill it all the way. I mean, not so full that it's making the rings bulge or anything, but I do stretch this, and I do worry sometimes that having all this in here might affect it. But other than it not feeling as shiny as the rest of the leather, it still works fine. It doesn't feel like it's going to crack or peel or anything like that. It's just wrinkling. So no worries there. As for my purple Personal Malden, which my friend also got for me when she was in London, I do keep it in this little Daiso case. I love how it's got the black and white polka dots on the outside, and then pink and black with black polka dots on the inside. So do use this even as a clutch sometimes for my big tote bag that I use for work. So right now I'm really using this for just about everything, like appointments and stuff like that. I even have my syllabus for school in here. So color is great, and the stitching, no problems at all. It's still, everything's nice, and even no fraying. I mean, it looks great. Still has that nice feel. Once again, I do have the charms on top, and this, no problems at all on the leather. And the funny thing, I don't keep this as stuffed as my A5, meaning it's not completely full. So the strap has held. There's no wrinkling. The strap is the same as the planner, which has that waxy feel that a lot of people who don't like Maldens may not like. So, but it doesn't bother me. Open it up. The inside of the strap still feels great. On the inside, as you can see, I don't have much in here at all. Just a couple flags, my little Filofax, and just some paper clips inside the zipper compartment. But if you can see, at the corner here, there is some lightening of the leather, which is really interesting, but the rest of it, fine. A couple little wear and tear scratches, that kind of thing. And as for the leather in here, no, a little bit of a dent made from the rings, but not like the ochre one, my A5 ochre. Now this thing, I don't know why, and it's kind of curling up on the seams too. I don't know if something had pushed on it, but if you look this way, I thought maybe it might have been the papers, resting on the papers, because I do leave it in the case, and sometimes I have things on top of it. If it's pushing down on the pliable leather, if it was hitting the papers, I'm like, I guess it could. But where it wasn't really the area that was hitting the paper, so the corners of the paper. So I don't know why. If you know why, I'd love to hear what makes you think it lightens like that. It doesn't really bother me too much, and just is what it is. It won't stop me from using it though, that's for sure. So leather is still really nice. The rings are great. The silver color is the same. The rings, see, as you can see, when I have it just one, it does over. And this one doesn't lay as flat as my ochre one does. But then again, I don't really use this so much. No, that's not true. It just doesn't, and I never tried to force it to lay flatter. But when I need to write, like on this side, I have no problems with it. It'll lay flat enough for me to write on, so it's not really a problem. But back to the leather. So the leather, no little dings or dents from the rings on the back cover, and there's no pad of paper here, so no problems there. It does have the one leather, full leather pen, and I just use the clips on the pen. There's my high-tech stilettos on here, so that's how I grab two here. And then as you can see one peeking out, I put it in between the rings here, and yep. So that's how I have my third stiletto in here, and still looks great. So these Maldens are holding up to me, my constant use, and I've used them pretty much for the whole year. Sometimes they'll be sitting at home. I don't always bring this with me if I'm working. Sometimes I do, like right now I'm having my project. This sucker is hefty. It's a good couple pounds at least. I have no idea. I don't have a scale with me. And this one is much lighter, so I don't have all my IRB stuff in here. I do have 6 months worth of the Kate Spade planners in here, and a couple little things in here. But if you want to see what I have in here, just shoot me a comment and I'll try to accommodate. But I just really wanted to show how the leather is holding up to a year of constant use. And do I bring these things with me every day, everywhere? My personal one I do right now, even in my purse. Sometimes, like if I go to a grocery store, I don't really need this. But for plannings, if I go to appointments, I definitely bring this one for school. Sometimes it depends. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood to bring all this heftiness, and it'll sit at home. But I still refer to it a lot. So they are being used. And yeah, so that is my 1 year and 1 month Filofax journey. So thanks for watching, and I will chat with you later. Okay, bye.